Welcome. This is not legal advice. I am your host, TINLA, and this is the June 2026 reading for my Sagittarian friends. Welcome, Sagittarius. Like, subscribe, share, etc. Let's take a look at if this is your sun, moon, rising, or the cross-watching you're doing for someone else, what the month of June 2026 has in store. So what is the general energy for Sagittarius in the month of June? Okay, we've got the starfish. And I know there are sociological implications for that. I'm not going to get into it because it's YouTube, but feel free to like me, leave me a comment about that because it would be hilarious. All right, where are we? I'm just telling you off the cuff. It reminds me of you. Beautiful, alluring, superficial, or shallow. The starfish is a natural and exquisite beauty, mesmerizing to all. Being around someone with starfish energy is a thrill, like you've been put under a spell of divinity itself. The problem is these creatures have been reliant on how they look and what other people think of them for so long that they may have forgotten their deeper callings. When this card appears, it's important to ask, am I being swayed by outward appearances? What dreams have I put aside to please others? When in balance, uplifting, artistic, expressive. When out of balance, gossips, feels empty, and to bring into balance, positive friends. Pages 96 and 97, so maybe you're class of 96, 97 in some fashion. Maybe you were born those years, which is really depressing because now I feel old. But here we are. So let's take a look at what the main focus is for you in June. What is the main focus for my Sagittarian friends in June, please, Spirit? What area is their main area of focus? How can the starfish apply? All right, we've got the first house, which is also the ascendant. So maybe if Sagittarian is your ascendant, which it is actually mine, not that you care about me, but that's cool. I'll take it as it is. It's a joke. Really, calm down. Okay, house of self, associated with Aries and Mars. The first house rules your sense of self and your identity. Also page 69, yuck, yuck, yuck. It also rules your looks, your style, your facial characteristics, we just talked about that, and the way you would like to be seen by others. The first house is where you feel most at home and truly comfortable in your skin. This house rules how you present yourself to the world as well as how you are perceived by others. In addition to your image and style, this house also rules the depths of your soul and what it truly means to be you. If you've pulled this card, now is a great time to consider what you need, what you want, and what is most in alignment with your own values and perspectives. If you're not sure what you should do in a situation, perhaps it's time to ask what you would do if no one else were involved. While it is important to welcome the opinions of others, this card encourages you to remember the importance of your own opinion. So very consistent here. It's looking within, it's honoring yourself and not being so distracted by what other people think, which I know is challenging. But, this month I think you're being called to really focus on yourself and what you truly want. So let's see what Spirit has to say in the cards. So tell me what is in store for my Sagittarius friends for the month of June 2026 or whenever this finds them, please, Spirit. Thank you. So we have the King of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. So what I'm seeing this month for you, Sagittarius, is me being completely out of pocket here with my lining up. Okay, is King of Wands is that passion, that fire. I mean, Sagittarius is a fire sign, so you are being driven by a passion that you have within, but you feel like the Knight of Swords people are going to be coming for you. Well, this doesn't make sense. Like, for example, if you're looking at your career and you say, well, I want to change jobs. I want to look into doing something completely different. You have your friends or family or other people around you saying, well, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't, why are you doing that? You're so good at what you do right now. But you're really focused on this passion that you have. Maybe you want to be a YouTube creator, or maybe you want to, I don't know, go, take a 6-month leave of absence from work and live in a forest somewhere. I don't know. But whatever it is that you have in your heart, go introspect and find out what it is and would you do that if people weren't hassling you? Don't hassle the Hoff, right? You're taking that to heart this month. You're really trapped in your head. And what you don't realize is you have the key to escape. These people are putting those swords around you. They're saying, you shouldn't do this. You've got a family to take care of. You shouldn't do this. You've got other obligations to deal with. And you are, to some extent letting those swords this month trap in and quell your fire here. And what I'm feeling is Spirit saying, that's what you're going to be dealing with. And what are you going to do about it? So let's find out, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because we saw in the theme here with the starfish in the first house, being true to yourself. So let's see, are you going to be? We have the Four of Cups. Let me get two more. Okay, please. Thank you. The Two of Cups which, listen, as a fire sign, I know it's like weird to think about cups and emotions where you guys are like action oriented. And by guys, I mean like everybody. I don't gender specify. And the 9 of Wands. Okay, so very action. So this month, you know, what you're actually going to do here is there's going to be a lot of struggle. You know, you're going to worry about, am I missing an opportunity? By pouring into the things that I know, the things that I have done so far, and following the path I've been on already, am I missing a beautiful opportunity somewhere else? You know, where I could maybe make a new business deal, meet someone new, meet, you know, another aspect of myself that would make me happy. Like maybe you just need rest and refreshment. You know, Sagittarians, y'all are very into travel typically. So maybe you are thinking, like I said, I want to take that once in a lifetime, you know, trek, you know, where you're going to Mecca, or you're taking the, you know, walking some kind of specialized path that means something to you, or that cross-country bike ride, whatever it is. Like, you really want to do something and people are challenging you on it. You're getting stuck in your head and you're wondering, what if I just keep pouring into this existing structure, am I missing out on this beautiful opportunity for growth and for change and maybe making connections? Because let's just say, in theory, that you take this this trek across the country. Like, we rent an RV and you're like, I'm going to go do the wild outdoors thing. Along the way, you can meet lots of great new people that help you in your career and in other aspects of your life. So it comes full circle. But being true to yourself in this King of Wands and being true to what it is you really want is going to yield results. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, neither is spirit, right? This 9 of Wands energy is going ahead in the face of adversity. You know, it's unlike the 8 of Swords. The 9 of Wands is like taking the action regardless of this. It's proceeding even though the odds seem stacked against you. So what is the sort of end of June energy for Sagittarius? Like, where are they going to find themselves end of June, likely, based on the existing energy? 3 of Cups. Let's keep going. And I will read it all together. Okay, we had this flip over. It's the 7 of Swords. Okay, interesting. Thank you for sticking with me. All right, we've got the 5 of Swords. More in your head energy. More logic. And I'm really just seeing a pattern erupt here, so I want to talk to you about that. Okay, so then we have the Ace of Wands. All right, so what I'm seeing for you, Sagittarius, you know, end of the month of June, you are pursuing that happiness, but you're doing it in secret. Like, you might be telling people like, oh, you know, you're so right. Like, that would be a stupid idea for me to do this. But like, you're secretly planning your escape, right? Because you are recognizing that passion, right? You're reaching for that King of Wands. Like, you're not letting that go. You might act like you are. You might act like, oh yeah, we're all just settled here and we're just gonna stay the course, right? But behind the scenes, you're deceptive about that. You're planning on walking off and doing whatever it is you want to do, and you can see that further here with the 5 of Swords. You're leaving, you know, these swords behind. You know, you're going up this staircase, this path here. You're dropping swords along the way, and you know, you're leaving that heartbreak behind, because 3 of Swords is like a heartbreak, and then you have 1 sword, 2 swords down on the floor, which, you know, 2 of Swords is like a stagnation energy. So you're moving forward away from maybe the unpleasant situation. I don't want to say it's unpleasant, because you might be perfectly like happy, okay, where you are. You might be like, okay, but not great. And so, but you're like, people are like, hey, why don't you want this? Why don't you like stick with where you are? Like, it's so much easier. It makes more sense. And you're like, you know, I'm going to drop the facade. I'm going to drop the stagnancy. I'm going to drop the laziness, or the reticence to make a move. And you're making the move, which is great for you. But you're planning it in secret, because that really is, you're acknowledging this is the truth of it. I really, really want to do this thing. And you're not letting anybody stand in your way. You're not letting the struggles of it all like hold you back. So, you know, and at bottom of the deck, by the way, Justice. So, you know, you're doing very much like what you feel is fair and right and makes sense in your life, even if other people don't see it that way. So that really is very much in touch with the Starfish first house energy, which is, you know, being true to yourself and not worrying so much about what other people may think you should or shouldn't do. Let's go ahead and get some advice from Spirit. What's the advice from Spirit for Sagittarius? One more, please. Okay. We have 8 of Wands, and we'll clarify that in a second. We have the 4 of Wands and the 5 of Cups, which is interesting. I just actually had that very same sort of lineup with my Gemini friends. So maybe the two of you are in it together. But, you know, there are going to be people you're leaving behind that are going to be sad. You know, the advice is, look, some people are not going to be happy with your decision. They're really not. They're not. But you're dreaming of something bigger, something better, something worth celebrating. You know, it's one of those, like, memories of a lifetime, you know, where you will look back on it later and be like, wow, I did the thing. I took action. I am so, like, I was so scared at the time, but I did it. And I'm so proud of that. And by the way, bottom of the deck here, with this Queen of Pentacles, that to me is like you looking back at the end of the month or your life or whatever, saying like, I know it was tough. It was a very challenging decision, but I'm so glad that I took the action I took, irrespectively of what others might think of me or whether they were upset at me. I did what I needed to do for myself, and look at all the beautiful things that have come as a result of that. So I really, really believe, Sagittarius, that this is a great month for you, June of 2026. You just have to be bold enough to take the step and be true to yourself. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.